Welcome to our Crypto News in 10, a daily podcast bringing you the latest news about crypto in under 10 minutes. Here's what's moving crypto this Thursday, April 6, 2026. A massive exploit on Solana's Drift protocol, with losses north of $250 million. A policy pulse check. Coinbase's chief legal officer says the Senate's stablecoin yield impasse is close to a deal. And a macro whipsaw across everything from Bitcoin to gold after President Trump's latest remarks on Iran. We'll also hit a big balance sheet bet. Tokyo's Metaplanet added nearly $400 million in Bitcoin in the first quarter, and will wrap with new criminal charges tied to a 2021 DeFi hack that prosecutors say funded trading cards. Let's start on Solana. Drift Protocol, a decentralized perpetuals exchange, reported an exploit that on-chain sleuths peg between roughly $250 and $285 million. Early read is this. Investigators say the attacker may have gained access through compromised admin keys, enabling vault withdrawals that drained funds fast. The Drift token sank almost 30% intraday as users scrambled for details and teams urged caution. If the tally holds, it's the largest crypto hack of 2026 so far, landing squarely in the middle of Solana's frenetic perpetuals boom, and underscoring that operational key hygiene can be just as dangerous as smart contract bugs. Arkham and PeckShield are tracking the flows, and today's coverage flagged both the scale and the suspected key route. Zooming out to Washington, Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal says negotiators are very close to a deal on the most controversial piece of the Clarity Act, the rules for paying yield on stablecoin balances. He told Fox Business the Senate Banking Committee could move to a markup in the next few weeks, and he pushed back on a familiar banking talking point, saying there's no evidence of deposit flight whatsoever into stablecoins. Prediction markets are leaning that way too, with odds ticking up on passage this year. If lawmakers nail the stablecoin yield language, it could unlock new on-platform rewards for US users and narrow the gap with offshore competitors. Now the macro picture. Markets took a risk-off turn after President Trump vowed to hit Iran extremely hard, saying the war was nearing completion, but without a plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Traders de-risked fast, crypto liquidations climbed, Bitcoin turned lower, and gold also slipped, even as crude oil spiked from the high 90s to above $107 a barrel on supply route angst. Spot Bitcoin ETFs, which had just snapped a month-long inflow streak, were cited as seeing net outflows last week, another straw on the camel's back for short-term price action. It's a reminder that geopolitics can swamp crypto-native catalysts on any given day. Before we continue, here's a message from our sponsors.
Need elite developers fast? Elite Coders connects you with rigorously vetted senior engineers in 24 to 48 hours. Staff augmentation, dedicated teams, or full project delivery, we've got you covered. Visit elitecoders.co to get started today.
All right, let's get back to it. Corporate treasuries, meanwhile, are still stacking sats. Metaplanet, often called Japan's MicroStrategy, added 5,075 Bitcoin in the first quarter, spending about $398 million at an average of $78,000 per coin. That brings the company's stash to 40,177 Bitcoin, and per CoinDesk reporting this morning, makes it the third largest public Bitcoin treasury in the world, as drawdowns test conviction across tech and crypto equities. This is a notable outlier, buying dips aggressively and signaling a long-duration view on digital hard money. And we've got a law and order coda to a classic DeFi saga. Federal prosecutors have charged a Maryland man in connection with two 2021 attacks on uranium finance, built on Binance Smart Chain, that netted roughly $53 million. Beyond the alleged laundering, the detail that grabbed headlines, authorities say millions went toward eye-popping purchases like Magic, The Gathering, and Pokemon cards. The case, announced by the Southern District of New York earlier this week and picked up locally today, carries potential penalties of up to 30 years. It's another reminder for would-be mixers and launderers. Blockchains remember, and paper trails in the physical world do, too. Quick recap. Drift's exploit is the year's biggest so far, and a wake-up call on key management. Coinbase's chief legal officer says the Senate's stablecoin yield deal is very close, hinting that US products could soon look more like what you see offshore. Macro jitters from Washington's Iran stance added pressure across risk assets, even as oil popped. Metaplanet is still buying, with $398 million in the first quarter alone, cementing itself as the number 3 Bitcoin treasury, and prosecutors dusted off a 2021 DeFi hack alleging tens of millions stolen and some of it blown on trading cards. More tomorrow. Thanks for listening and see you tomorrow.